This new pipe coupling makes it easier than ever to join two pieces of EMT conduit together with a single hand tool. Today we're going to talk all about this new coupling and the features that it offers to builders. Let's get into it. If you go to your local hardware or home store and look in the electrical aisle, you'll find some off-the-shelf pipe coupling solutions made to join EMT conduit together. Most commonly, you'll see a compression style or a set screw style coupling like the ones I have here. These are made for electricians, actual electricians, and they act as a connection point between two pieces of conduit that are generally secured to something else like a wall or ceiling. They work great in those scenarios because they aren't supporting any kind of weight. What if you actually need that connection to be strong and rigid?
I'm not strong enough.
They don't really do that job well, which is why we've created this new 3/4 inch EMT conduit coupling designed for builders and DIY projects. It allows you to get a really strong connection between two parallel pieces of conduit. Just like the rest of the connectors that we manufacture, this coupling is made of steel and can be assembled with a single 5mm hex wrench. It consists of two mirrored parts that interlock together with these puzzle pieces here. Each coupling includes the M6 nut and bolt that you need for assembly. You can get this coupling with a silver or black finish, and the durable automotive E-coating is corrosion resistant, which basically means you can use it in your outdoor builds without worrying about any kind of rust developing.
Wow.
When fully assembled, there's a 3/4 inch gap between the two pieces of conduit inside the coupling. You'll want to keep that measurement in mind whenever you're figuring out dimensions and cuts for your build. You'll also notice that there are some pre-drilled holes in the coupling, which allow you to reinforce the connection. We're going to talk about that along with some other methods for reinforcement later in the video, so be sure to stick around. Because of the built-in features and design, this connector has a lot of benefits that solve specific challenges in your build. Before we dive into those solutions, it's worth mentioning that you should not use this coupling to create a long, unsupported span of conduit. For example, if you tried to connect two 10-foot pieces of conduit together, you would experience a lot of flex and bend in the pipes. That's just the nature of building with pipe in general, and you should keep that in mind even if you aren't using this particular coupling in your project. However, as I said, this is going to be a helpful solution for other things in your projects. Most commonly, I think it'll be useful for securely adding length to a build over 10 feet long. Let's say, for example, you want to build a 12-foot long garden enclosure. In the past, you would have had to break up that conduit span and then add a series of connectors to brace it accordingly. Now, instead, with this coupling, you can add that extra 2 feet of conduit to the 10-foot length, and then you can brace it however you want, whether it be with uniform vertical supports every few feet or angled supports. It's really up to you. This solution allows you to keep the conduit run as long as possible while still giving your project the support it needs. A good example from the community is the Siglu created by Jay and Liam Martin from Martin Product Design. In order to achieve a proportional roof in their outdoor canopy structure, they needed to extend the build by a couple of feet. At the time, they came up with a really clever solution that involved some miscellaneous hardware and some threaded pipe inserts. Now with this new coupling, they could achieve the same thing really easily. Another great example of how useful this would be for extending a long conduit span comes from a build that we did a while ago. You might remember whenever we put together a 300-inch projector screen frame. If you don't, it was well over 10 feet wide, so we decided to split the build in half and then connect it together. At the time, we used some of these set screw couplings because it's all we had on hand. Unfortunately, the conduit kept slipping out of the set screw coupling every time we would try to raise and lower the frame, which is really frustrating. Dave blamed that on my carrying technique, but regardless, we could have saved a lot of time and frustration with this new coupling. I think this would also be really handy for builds that you want to flat pack for storage or shipping somewhere. For example, let's say you have a build that has a series of 6-foot pipes. You could cut those in half for storage or moving, whatever it is, and then use this coupling to put them back together whenever you're ready to assemble the build. You might be wondering how strong this joint actually is. We're still planning to do some strength testing on all of the MakerPipe connectors to give you a better idea of what to expect when you're building, but for now, I can assure you this connector was designed to have as much clamping force as the other connectors in the MakerPipe building system. There are also some ways that you can reinforce the coupling and increase the pull-out strength even more. First of all, you can add some extra friction bands to the two pipes that you're connecting. That's a really easy way to add some extra grip. You can also add some half-inch self-tapping screws directly through the pre-drilled holes in the connector directly into the conduit. Since the two connector pieces are mirrored, you can add up to 4 self-tapping screws, 2 per piece of conduit. That alone will add a lot of reinforcement to the connection, but you can also combine that with another hack to increase the pull-out strength by a good amount. We designed the inside of the connector to be open all the way through. This allows you to add a no-lip threaded pipe insert, either a 1/4-20 or 3/8-16, into both pieces of conduit that you're joining together. This means you can then thread the two pieces of conduit together and then clamp the coupling over top of them like normal. As always, we're super excited to see how you guys use this new coupling in your DIY projects. If you have any questions or need any help with a build, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next video.